everyone, this is Darla Majick, also known as Fire Magic Spell of New England Pagans and Witches. So tonight is the new moon in Libra. It's a Monday, and Mondays are all about the moon. The moon rules Mondays, Moon Day, as some people say. All about psychic insight, all about intuition, all about receptivity and energy. Luna herself. So how fitting it is that the new moon is also on a Monday. Anyway, I want to talk about our hands. And what it means to have a projective hand and a receptive hand. What does that mean in magic? I get a lot of questions about that from people from time to time. And there's a lot of workings on the internet that talks about your projective and receiving hand. So I'm going to break that down for you because there is no right or wrong answer to it. It's really what works best for you as an individual. And with saying that, if you are in a tradition, if you are in a coven, or if you are in a workshop or magical teaching, at the time being, you may want to do what they're teaching you until it makes sense to you to maybe do something else. Because I really believe when we're learning something, we need to practice something the way that we are learning it for it to make sense to us. So if you are taking classes, if you are taking workshops, or if you are in any type of training for magic, make sure you are giving it your all. You are breaking it down to what is being taught to you at that time and stick with it. You can change it up later on to what feels best for you. But while you're learning, do what you can to really feel out what you're being taught. Because that way, you can make an educated decision. Does this feel right to me or not? It's all about, what feels best for you as an individual magical practitioner. Unless you are truly in a coven that only does things one way. Or you're in a tradition that only does things one way. I've done that myself. I've been in a coven. I've been in a couple of covens. I ran a coven, and I've been in a tradition that really things were just taught and done in the way that the teachers wanted it to be done. So now I am more solitaire. Even though I still teach, I do things my way, that what feels best for me. And I want people to use their brains, their magical thinking brains, and their scientific brains once they learn things, not just when you're still new at it. To me, new is under 7 years, because after that is really when things take off. It's just like in our physical world, the soul, they usually say up until age 7, our soul is wide open. The same thing when you're being taught magic. I consider those first 7 years like a child. So don't think because you've been on the path only 5 years that you know it all. You don't. And even when you're on the path as long as I've been, which has been over 30 years, I would never claim I know it all. So let's remember that. All right. So let's take things in the magical settings of, do I do magic with my left hand or my right hand? What does that mean? Well, what it means when we do magic is, what is our projective hand? Our projective hand is all about action. What is our receptive hand? Our receptive hand is all about intuition and feeling, receiving. Now, some people in the magical communities, I say magical communities because I don't want to break it down to every single community out there, every single way of practicing magic out there. Are you a witch? Are you a Wiccan? Are you a druid? Are you a warlock? And blah, 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 blah. There are many, many things out there, many practices, many techniques, many practitioners. So I say magical practitioner to cover them all. It's an umbrella term to cover them all. All right. So years and years and years and years and years ago in the 80s is when I started learning witchcraft. And this is all before the internet, social media, all of that. The 90s, I think, was when I started going into chat rooms on AOL to kind of connect with other magical practitioners at that time, witches. But before that, thankfully I live only in like an hour and 10 minutes from Salem, so I used to go to Salem to learn things. I used to go to a lot of workshops and learn a lot of things. And things have changed over the years because, like people, like the human race, we evolve, we grow, we change. And you can still do that in your magical practice. If something doesn't feel right to you anymore, if something doesn't help you grow anymore, you are allowed to change it up. You are allowed to move forward without any guilt. If someone makes you feel guilty, then that's confirmation that you know it's time to go forward and lead. So just remember that. But getting back to our hands. What is the receptive? What is the projective? Well, for me, my projective hand is my right hand. I am a right-handed person, even though I can write with my left hand. I don't truly call myself ambidextrous because there are things I can't do with my left hand in an action way. But I can print my name. I can even sign my name on my left hand. However, I don't usually use my left hand in that manner. Every now and then I do, but not all the time. I think as a child, I started with my left. I think most of us start with our left, but then we're taught, nope, right hand. Maybe today kids are taught differently. Use the hand that feels best for you. But I know when I was a child, I wanted everyone using their right hand. So anyway, with that, my projective hand, my action hand, is my right hand. My receptive hand, my energy hand, my receiving hand is my left. Now, if we look at it scientifically and go with right brain, left brain, that's opposite. The left brain hemisphere is all about action, is all about logic, is all about facts, figures, is all about using words, using our verbal speech, taking action. And the right brain is all about our imagination, our creativity, our intuition, our feelings, our visualization, how we create art, which is all thinking. So it's kind of the opposite. But I want you to think about what feels best for you as an individual. What feels best for you as a magical practitioner? Do you like using your right hand to send out energy? Or do you like using your left hand to send out energy? Tonight is the new moon in Libra, and I'm bringing this up tonight again in the Libra moon because Libra is all about balance. Now, I am going to say you can mix it up anytime you want if you want to try each hand. But I would use it at different times. For the container being, which is the circle being, if you cast a circle, do everything with one hand as your action hand and one hand as your receiving hand. And at another time, do the opposite until you feel what is best for you. And even with that said, let us think about, okay, tonight we can break it down to the elements, right? Your fire signs. I'm a fire sign. It's all about action. So I'm going to use my right hand because I'm working with the energy of Sagittarius, of Leo, of Aries. So I'm going to use action. Or am I going to use water and use the left side of myself? One night, am I going to do the Scorpio moon? Am I going to do the Cancer moon? Am I going to do the Pisces moon? All those water signs that are receptive, that are emotion. And break it down that way. So anything emotional, anything intuitive and psychic is all that receptive energy. Anything action, anything doing, anything projecting is all that projective energy. So it doesn't mean it has to be your right, it has to be your left. It just has to make sense to you as the individual, as the magical practitioner. So tonight, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, am I going to look at it scientifically with right and left brain hemispheres, or am I going to look at it in the hand that I write with? For me, it's the hand I write with. I write with my right-handed hand. So for me, that is my active hand. That is my projective hand. My left hand is my energy hand, is my receptive hand. There have been times when I just said that now that I tried both. Different times so I could see what feels best for me. I worked with the elements. I worked with different magical trainings so I could see, okay, does this make sense to me? And I want you to do that too as a magical practitioner. just so that way you can feel the difference, just so that way you can feel what feels best to you, and you can have successful magic. Because if something is leaving you in question, if something is leaving you not feeling right, there's a reason for that. So sit with it, meditate upon it, journal it, and figure it out for yourself as the magical individual practitioner you are. So that way you can make gains, you can have positive outcomes, you can have successful outcomes in your magic, in your spiritual practice, and in your personal physical life. And that's what you want. A lot of times people think, well, why aren't my spells working? It can be down to the bare basics of it, of just knowing which hand to use or what feels right for you. Things like that. So tonight, use this new moon in Libra. Figure it out. Figure out the balance for yourself. And I wish you all prosperity. I wish you all success. I wish you all balance under this new moon in Libra. If you need to contact me, remember I'm Darla Majick on Facebook, New England Pagan Witches on Yahoo, and I'm Darla Majick, Fire Magic on YouTube. So you can leave a comment under any of these links. I wish you well. Blessed be. Successful magic.